Hey everybody, my camera's not working. There it is. How's it going? Scott Detweiler here, back from Florida. I've got, I guess, the last plane out yesterday, so that was really lucky. Good luck to all those people down there, and that's gonna be brutal. It's looking like a train wreck. So I'm really sorry about that nature is not your friend today. But what a beautiful area you live in. The weather was lovely. Not today though. So hopefully that passes and everybody's okay. But I made it out with. Well, we hurried through our classes, got it done 2 days earlier than expected, so we really rushed through. Thanks to all the people who came down there to listen to me speak for 5 days and had 3 days of it, and really long days at that. So we're going to be getting in communication with you so we can kind of finish up this stuff because we had to rush through the end of that. Anyway, today we're back at it, so I'm going to do more live streams here. I'm gone over the weekend, but I'm back on Monday or Tuesday, actually. So you'll see a lot more content from me. We've got a bunch of new stuff coming out. So DALL-E 2 just released to the public. So if you have been waiting for that, you can now go use it. So you can go to I don't have the link with me handy, but they did just release that to everybody. So it opened it right up. So if you want to go use DALL-E 2, go ahead. However, I think that DALL-E 2 is now kind of far behind compared to what MidJourney and Stable Diffusion have done with their Dream Studio and all the local implementations that people have used Dream Studio for, Stable Diffusion. It looks fantastic. And DALL-E 2 is looking kind of like they're behind a little bit. Still a powerhouse and a completely different look, again, than the other two engines. It seems like it's been trained more on stock photography. If I were to just look at it, that's kind of my impression. Today, we're going to be using song lyrics to try and create art. So this is the part of that weekly AI challenge that I'm in. It is not open to the public anymore. It's full at 60 people. I haven't been participating in it much because I didn't, I just wasn't motivated by some of the prompts. I had one for architecture, but I went to Florida and I forgot to turn it in. So there's that. But we're going to be doing more of that. There's also Stable Diffusion has started doing a weekly AI art challenge as well. And I think we're going to jump into that one. So we might actually do that one today. That is ethereal landscapes. So depending on how we do with the music, then we might go into that as well. So the goal here is to use MidJourney and or Stable Diffusion to kind of create a prompt using music, and then maybe take it a step further, take it into Photoshop and play with it and finish it. I'm not a believer that whatever it hands us is all we get and we're done. I want to make it my own. So depending on what we get, again, I haven't practiced this. I have no idea where we're going. However, I have a kind of an idea. I want to use references to Cthulhu mythos in music. So I'm a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan, and the whole Cthulhu mythos is awesome. If you don't know who that is, that's it's a whole bunch of stories based around a made-up religion, more or less. A made-up religion. And it's basically references of this Cthulhu as giant. It's just actually not even a major deity who lives sleeping at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Not dead, but dreaming, more or less, is the thing. So I like a lot of the mythos behind that. Some of the creatures are really kind of cool. It's got such a great span of things you can do with it, from outer space to underground. It's really kind of cool. And most of the books are based in the 20s. So you have a kind of a steampunky aesthetic to them. There are a lot of musical references for Cthulhu stuff. So Metallica itself here, I just did a quick search on these. So I'm trying to find like areas where I want to pursue this. And Metallica has quite a few, for example, that are Cthulhu-based songs. So I kind of, I'll share this with you. I just did a quick search on Cthulhu in popular culture and looked at music, and there's a lot of songs. So I thought we'd just start there, dig up some of the lyrics, and then go into MidJourney, Stable Diffusion, and kind of see what we want to do. The MidJourney, especially, I'm excited to see because they're very obscure prompt, like Into My Soul or something like that. It's not something you're like, well, I know what a soul looks like. We'll just do this. It really does a creative job with those terms, and you get some really exciting and different kind of unexpected prompts out of that. So that's what I thought we would do today. I thought that would be kind of fun to play with the music, the lyrics, and see what happens. So let's do that. So jump over to my desktop here. Doink. Right. And we'll get going on this. So again, first of all, I'm just kind of looking at, I could actually do the side of the side of the head cam as well, because I'm going to look over here the whole time. I looked in here, and again, Cthulhu and popular mythos. I'm just using the Wikipedia article here, and these are all songs that have Cthulhu. So I was looking at, there's some Black Sabbath up there. There's all kinds of stuff. But it was the Metallica ones is the one I was kind of more interested in. So I found the Metallica Master Puppets, the thing that should not be, which I thought was kind of cool. So I did a Wikipedia search or a Google search on that, and I came up with these lyrics. And I haven't tested any of this yet, but because some of this is descriptive, like underwater or somewhere, I thought that would be kind of a cool place to start. And of course, we're going to have to augment the prompt with things that are outside of the lyric in order to get what we want. Like, I'm sure there's no lyrics out there. Well, there's probably somewhere that contains the word octane render, like if you want that. But we're obviously going to have to break or bend a few rules to get a prompt that's interesting. So I was just going to start at the top. Let's just start with this one. Let's just go right for the first line of the thing. So I'm just using, MidJourney through the Discord interface here. And I have my settings so you can see what they are. I'm using just version 3. When I use test or test P, I usually type them. I don't have them default to being on because sometimes I want square. If I want to use aspect ratio 1:1, that'll give me 4 options. But if you have one of these flags set, then you only get 2. And that's just one of the limitations of the test system right now. And then the style, I tend to like the medium style, but we can, crank up on this if we like. Quality, I just use a base quality. Although I could do 2 times. I am in relaxed mode, which you can see down here. That means that it's going to take a little bit longer to generate them, but I can also do them forever. So I can waste the majority of my day sitting here and doing this, which I'm not going to do, but that's the idea. I use the regular upscale. There's an upscale light and then a beta upscale, which is okay. But I just use that typically. And I'm in private mode. This is an extra $20 a month to make it private. I'm not really sure I'm going to continue doing this, by the way. I'm finding Stable Diffusion most of the time is the tool I tend to reach for. I just really like this Dream Studio interface here. It's easy to use, and I'm getting some great images out of it. Remember, Dream Studio is running version 1.5 of Stable Diffusion, and MidJourney is running version 1.4. So you're going to get better images if problem solving and training and all those things in the new version are better. Yes, MidJourney does run on top of Stable Diffusion or an implementation of Stable Diffusion, but it has its own flavor and so on. So let's start here. We're just going to do Imagine, and we're going to just throw that in there. So that's my, yeah, we're done. Yeah, wasn't that a great show? I said I need to do something with this. I have no idea what this is going to return, but I tend to find the square images to be non-inspiring. And I find that to be true in Stable Diffusion, MidJourney, and it's one of the reasons why I'm not a big DALL-E 2 fan is because they're just squares. And I don't really enjoy that. I find that most of the time when I make it a different aspect ratio, whether it's landscape or portrait, I just get a much more exciting images out of it. So let's do that. So I'm going to change the aspect ratio here to 2:3. That is the same as my Sony a7R IV. That's my main camera. So if you don't know, I am a full-time photographer. That is what I do. I shoot mostly boudoir, so I work with pretty much only women. If I do have a guy in the studio, we call those props. So just lean on him, right? That he's a prop. That's the only reason the guys are ever in pictures. So, and I'm going to use the test on this. I think that their implementation of test and test P is really interesting. It's very refreshing, but I don't know what we're going to get, but I know that test tends to make things better. So we're just going to run with that and see what happens. I have no idea. While we have that baking, let's go over to see what other ones we have here in lyric-wise for this same song. Hybrid children watch the sea, pray for father roaming free. We're just kind of, maybe we'll skip that one. The first line would be fine. Kind of looking through here. The great old ones, by the way, are referenced a lot in a lot of stories and movies and stuff. So I think if we use this one, we're going to end up with a very Cthulhu-looking image. For now, I'm going to kind of maybe avoid that because I kind of have an idea where that might be. I want to see the more weird, like what's it going to come up with? Out from ruins once possessed, fallen city, living death. Living death might be a very interesting prompt. So fallen city, living death. I think I may almost have to kind of go with the whole prompt though here, because otherwise it's kind of a, I don't know, too easy. Right? That's looking pretty good. All right, so we'll do throw this on there again. The same endings. By the way, if you want to, you can do preferred suffix here, and then you can type in what you want to see. So I want to see my aspect ratio be 2:3, and I want to use test for all these. That's really all the settings command does, by the way. So if we do settings now and we look at it, we'll see that it has switched them. So if you ever get tired of typing the same suffixes all the time, do that. Note that you can't do it with actual terms. You can't use like, I always wanted to say, Greg Rukowski at the end because it makes him mad. You don't do that anymore. you don't do that. And I completely understand why that guy is a little frosted. I get it. But only 4 or so many of his images are actually in the clip database, but he went out of his way to keyword them so people who are vision impaired or so on could find them easily. So he shouldn't be punished for that. So I don't know if you know about that, but that specific artist is very mad that this system is creating art that looks like his. All right, so I can just put this and hit enter because we've already got the preferred suffix after it. This turned out interesting. I'm going to roll it again and just see kind of what happens there. And I do want to grab more of this. So I think we're going to go for like a much larger prompt. Let's try something like this and see what we get. Throw that out there. And so my strategies is kind of like go through and work with what we've got here, but kind of be a little more cherry picking about it. Drain you of your sanity, face this thing that should not be. Heck yes, that sounds like the one we're gonna go with. That just sounds great. Run that. We're stacking them up here. Yeah, and that's so let's get back here and kind of look what we're doing. So how this one turned out, it's okay. It's a little bit illustration heavy for me. I don't really care for illustration, so I might do this one again, but this time roll with test P. Unfortunately, in order to do that, that's just the reason why I don't put it normally as a suffix, because if you want to change to the other one, it'll yell at you because you're using both. So I'm just going to run with settings here and change it to test P. Now let's run that same prompt again. It'll be test P with the aspect ratio that we wanted. So let's see how it goes. All right, what else we got going on here? Out of ruins, once possessed, fallen city, living death. That's looking pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Is it, the next question you have to ask yourself is this going to win a competition? So this is an image competition. This isn't like a pass-fail, like, hey, look, we used a prompt and we got a picture. Yay. No, that's not good enough. We need something that's like shock value, right? We want to win. This isn't going to win anything. The face is goofy. It's all right. I mean, it's art, right? Let's see what else we got. We just got one that finished. That's pretty interesting. It's got a very, it draws you in. It's very interesting. Is it a competition winner? No, I don't think so. I've seen some really great art in these competitions, and people really taking their time to get the perfect prompt and then going into Photoshop and really nuancing the images, which is the part I actually think I enjoy. Even more than photography sometimes. I love Photoshop, and I like to go in there and just play around and do something with the client's pictures and make something amazing. And that's part of why this, I think, is interesting to me, because I get to focus on the second part just as much. All right, there's this one. Okay. Again, I like it. It's interesting. Will it win a competition? I don't think so, but I actually do like it. I think it's pretty cool. This one here, I want to roll again. Messenger, fear, insight, dark deception kills light. Let's roll that one again. This one I think is pretty much as good as it's going to get. It's interesting. I like it, but not a competition winner. And I think that this quote, this lyric, is just not going to be anything that's going to jump out to us. I'm gonna move past. If you have any questions, by the way, as I'm going through this, obviously this is just me playing with the system. And if you have ideas and you have lyrics or things like that you want me to just throw them in the comments or not in the comments, but in the chat here, so we can maybe look at them as we're going through. Look at that! Wow, face the thing that should not be. Oh, I thought it was really going to be pretty twisted there for a second, but wow! Oh, here we go. I got two mouths, which is okay in this case. The thing that should not be. This was the test P prompt. I guess I didn't copy that other one. What I was doing. What I thought I was doing. Yep. All very good. Are there any other ones in here? Bits of this. I could go with a much larger prompt too. I don't think the much larger prompt, like in this case, the modular prompt didn't produce a better image. This is pretty darn interesting. And I like that the quote, the lyric, and the result work with each other. Okay. It's, my wife's not going to like that, by the way. Nope. Not going to be a spouse approved image. We're not putting that one on the wall. In other words, that's not going into the gallery. Yeah. So if you have ideas, throw them in here. I'm all good about it. So, what we're going to be doing this week too. So I've got a couple more days before I leave. I'm gone for the weekend, my 30th wedding anniversary. So we're going to get out of Dodge for a day at least. And I want to do a couple more videos, live streams, but I have a couple of strategy things that I want to do, that I want to make videos of. So there'll be a couple more things before I take off. Appreciate everybody and their patience while I was gone. I travel a lot and I do a lot of speaking at big photography conventions. And this was a nice sizable one in Orlando. So that's done now. I've got Portland in about 3 weeks or so. So I'll be gone. That one's pretty quick though. That's we'll arrive one day, speak, and then leave the next day. It's like I think it's one of their big conventions. This is nice. Let's roll it again. I like this. This prompt is really interesting. This is a little too movie poster like for me, but let's roll it again. And I might stick with this test P thing. I think that's it's just giving me, every time I use test P, I tend to be happier with the result. So maybe the test one is just more illustrative. So let's go with this one again. And because we've got test P set as our default now, we can just hit enter and it should be fine. That's quite lovely. I bet my wife would, she would make a face if she saw that. I like this. Let's run a variation on it. And maybe we'll upsize it, but my strategy is that I tend to run the V-roll, variation roll first to see if it's something that I like. And oftentimes if I do this, I always come back to the original image and go, I just like that one better. But you never know. I mean, we're rolling dice, right? We're playing with noise and noise application, so we have no idea what we're getting. But I don't typically upsize everything. Even though it doesn't cost me anything, I just tend to not do it. How do I get great portraits in stable diffusion? Put word portrait medium shot, never get a good portrait. So the same strategy here in stable diffusion and with MidJourney is you get a portrait when you ask for details that are portrait oriented. For example, if you want a full body, don't type the word full body. Type, what is she standing on? Where are her feet? Because the bot has to prove to you that she has feet, and it can't do that if it's a portrait. So typically if she's standing on a rock or standing in a grassy field, it's going to back the camera up to show you the full body. So using terms like full body, you can get the result, but it's just easier to say she's standing on something. If you want a portrait, I tend to use things like, what is she smiling? Because if she's smiling and she's very small in the image, the bot can't prove to me she's smiling. So it tends to make those more face forward, more close up. Flowing hair is a good one I like for more of a portrait, say a bust up from say mid chest to top of the head. Flowing hair is a good one for me. That's kind of my, that's my method. Oh, this one's really interesting, isn't it? I like, that's not even done yet. This one, face the thing that should not be. Well, that's unexpected, but I think that one might have enough of a little shock value that it might be worthwhile. Let's roll a version of that one. That's interesting. That's not what I had expected there. Yeah, see, I think I'm just now deciding that I'm never going to use test again. Like, I'm going to stick with test P from now on because I don't think I've been happy with a single one of the dash test images yet. From, again, my personal preference. I'm going to do a version on this one and roll it again because this one is just turning out really interesting. His face is a little different in that one. This is just this cute little, who knows what that is? Who knows? It's the thing that should not be, obviously. This is the re-roll or V-roll of that other one, but I like the amount of mouths we had with this one. I mean, it may turn out that way. It's still working. It's only 80% done. But I really like... that's pretty darn messed up, people. That's pretty messed up. Let's roll it again. But I'm actually kind of happy with that. Or this one or the first one. I'd have to kind of look at them a bit. They're weird, right? But it's when you compete in an image competition, any image competition, even if you're painting saw blades or beautiful women, whatever it is, it's all about impact. So it's that in the Professional Photographer Association's image competitions, which I do very well at, they have 12 items. So there's things like your composition, your color choices, your I'm trying to remember them all, storytelling, and so on. There's one that is impact. And impact to me, when I talk about judging, because I judge at some of these things and I compete, obviously, the impact is the trunk of the tree. So even if you have lighting, for example, is one of them. If you have the most perfect lighting in the world, but it's a boring picture, it's just, let's say it's a high school senior and she's beautiful and she's just, okay, it's a good picture and you probably did well. We don't have much of a storytelling, but impact, unless she's like stunning, right? Or there's some other aspect of the image that's taking you beyond, it's just a picture of a person, that impact is key to winning these competitions. So whenever you play with one of these competition ideas, it's not the fact you entered, it's that you produced an image with impact. So I'm looking for something that makes people go, ew, or. When we used to do these live, there'd be a big room full of people behind you, and it's quiet, right? There's 8 judges or so on. We're sitting, 5 judges, whatever. We're sitting around all these monitors, and we can't point, which is interesting, and you can't zoom. So you get your face right up next to it. And when an image would come up, it's displayed in a big screen, and it would pop up, and you hear the audience all take their collective, they'd all take a big breath because the image is like, wow, you know that image is going to do well because it had impact. Now we pick it apart. Is the lighting decent? Is it in focus? Were their color choices unfortunate? Things like this. But without impact, it is not going to do well. Then, no matter how good it is technically. I like this one. I think it's interesting. It doesn't have a ton of impact though. I guess it does have some impact. I like the detail in the face, and then you find this next. So I do like that one. No. This one is interesting just because it is so bizarre. Like, it's really it has impact. It's got a really bizarre overtone to it. I'm going to upscale one of these in a bit here. I'm going to upscale. I'm torn. What's this one now? The faces. Do I like this? I like the other creature better. But I like this. I think I like this face better. That one's just up. Here's 2 eyes now. I think I prefer the one with the 1 eye. Oh, here we go. Very cool image, but again, from a impact standpoint, it's not going to win it. But I like this face better. Let's upscale this one, and let's go up here and let's upscale. I'm torn. I like some aspects of this face, and I like the eyes better on this face. Plus, I think the face is just more interesting. Let's roll one more version of this. It looks like it's got some promise there. Let's do the same thing in Dream Studio and see what it comes up. So let's use this one. Drain your sanity, face the thing it should not be. Throw it into Dream Studio here. And again, the same thing. I tend to not prefer images that are square. So if I did this as squares, I'm probably going to not be very excited about it. I'm going to make these a little bit higher. So I like this 704 by 512, tends to make me happy. I also use the Euler model here because I find Euler with less steps seems to work just fine. So because I'm doing it this way, my cost per image is dropping. So I could do like maybe 30 steps and get 1.2 out of it. Okay, so that's the upsized version of that one. Let's go in here and do this. So Euler 1, and the interesting thing here is, again, we can use Stable Diffusion 1.5 and not 1.4. So that's pretty interesting. And the rest of this I'm just going to leave as it is. But I'm gonna do a few. Let's do 4 of them. That's the other reason I really like this. It's fast and I can do more than one. And these apparently have nudity in them. That's not entertaining. Do one more time. That was not a good roll. Wow, that was messed up. It's making memes, so that's weird. Wonder why it's making memes out of that. That is not what I expected. I like that face too. That's interesting. I'm getting some really good results from there. Tried this one in Dream Studio. We may have to increase this scale here, which is how much the image has to follow my prompt. Yeah, let's do that. And this also might be because the oiler is too low. Let's put it back to 50 and run it again. I'm interested in, it's interesting as to why we're getting memes out of this. I've never had that happen before. Go back to LMS. Huh. That is very weird. Not a good demo. What is going on today? Try a different prompt. Maybe it's just a prompt. Is there anything else in here that I've got that's set that's weird? I mean, it's width, height, CFG scale. Let's put that like 11. Normally I like this around 7 because I like it to kind of play around. 50 steps, number of images, 4. Yeah, all fine. Interesting that it's producing memes, or trying to. Huh. It's just, yeah, nope. Big bag of nope there. No, we're not using any of that. That's not, that's going the wrong way. You know what we should do? We should put it in DALL-E 2. Oh, we do that. Go find DALL-E 2. I have a lot of bookmarks. A lot of bookmarks. DALL-E 2. Where are they? Remember, DALL-E 2 just went public today, so you may now use it. You may now use it even if you're on the short list or wait list for it. Oh, here we go. It's a thing that should not be. Happens there. What we're going to do now is we're going to probably go into Photoshop and chop up some of those other prompts that we got. Like I kind of like this one. So I'm going to save a few of these off real quick and put these in my MidJourney folder. This is all the MidJourney art that I have. Actually, there's some Stable Diffusion in here a little bit. Here we go. That's interesting. DALL-E 2 is also making memes out of it. Huh. That is very interesting. Why these last couple lyrics I tried have done that, but have been really good results inside of MidJourney. I don't know. Who knows? All right, so do we like this one? We like this one, but we like this little thing in the guy's head. It was super cute. So let's go grab that one. Okay, let's go into Photoshop and mess it up. So I was pretty happy with that. Again, unexpected prompt there. I'm gonna change my camera angle here so you guys can see my my desktop, so that as I'm working, you can see where my hands are and how I'm drawing. I think a lot of people get value out of that. They've told me that this is better than looking at the side of my head, and I don't disagree, probably. So let's go find my MidJourney. Here's the MidJourney. I have everything under assets by what application it uses, and MidJourney is one of those that's it counts. So I'm just going to throw this in here, and we'll throw this other one. Oh, okay. I'm going to grab my Wacom tablet. Actually, it's not even a Wacom tablet anymore. I'm not going to say that. This is an XP pen. they sent me this, and I really like it. It just works. So the Wacom tablet, I take with me on the road because it's smaller than this one, but I fight with the darn thing all the time because it's so huge. So this is actually, I'm sorry, I fight with it all the time because it's Bluetooth, and I have to plug it in because the Bluetooth is completely unreliable. So let's look, what do we like about each one of these? I like the forehead. I really like that image. Like overall, I think this is just a better image. I don't even know if do I like anything in this image. I like his mouth better in this one. I like little ear hairs and stuff. All right, so first of all, let's just drop this to a black and white. Now, black and white, the best way to do black and white in Photoshop is not obvious actually. Go solid color and use any gray on this wall. So basically S is going to be 0. This is your saturation. As long as this is 0, like if it's like this, you're not doing it right. All the way against the wall here. I just drag like this. So the cursor's here. Hit OK. And change this to any one of these 3 here. So we'll just pick the top one. That means that all these will be the same tone now. And we can take this one and we're going to put a mask on it. I'm just going to hold down my Alt key and I click on this, which will make it inverted. So which means this black, it's basically like black tape is all over the image now. And I want to see through that tape. I will have to, I'll make these panels bigger. I'll have to draw with white on that in order for you to see what's going on. Match that accidentally. This is why I use a mouse, right? Use a mouse when you're trying to do stuff that isn't fiddly. If you're trying to sketch something, use your tablet. But if you're not trying to sketch something, then don't deal with holding the pen. It's just too fiddly. It slows you down. All right, I'm going to use a big white brush here. And I'm basically just going to paint in what we want. So we want this. I like his ears in this one. All that hair. What's shoulder look like here? Can we use a shoulder from this one? Yeah, this is. Ooh. You don't have to get too go out of your way to get super accurate with these things because we're not first of all, we're not sending it to the moon, right? It doesn't have to be super accurate. But no one has seen the before image. I mean, you have, but when your ultimate viewer is looking at these images, remember that they haven't seen the original, so they can't pick it apart and go, oh, well, I see what he did here. Is the nose better? And this is kind of a fun game we can play now. We can look at different things. Do we like the nose better from this one or from the other one? Better like that or better like... I think this nose is more interesting. Let's keep the nose. What else do we got here? We've got some ruddy cheeks, maybe. That's okay. I do like the mouth in this one versus the mouth in the other one. I like that cheek. No, I think I like that way. Some of this. These nasal labial fold, which is what this is called. That. I'm hitting X to toggle between black and white, so I can choose what I want to draw and not draw. Chin. And looking to see what the other one looked like, and I can always, again, if I don't like it, just use the X key and paint it out. But that's nice. What about this thing? I don't like it as bright. I don't want to draw attention to it. The neck from the other one. Is the neck better? Yeah, I think I actually, which one do I like? I think I like this one better on this side and this one better on this side. That way it's not drawing my eye so much, because you don't want to put white near the edge of a canvas because it draws the eye. Like this is going to draw the eye because it's a high contrast near the edge of the canvas, especially if we put a black border around this thing. It's going to draw the eye. How about, speaking of drawing eyes, what's it? Can we take this part of his eye here? I think that's interesting. How do I like better? I like the. I like it better over here too. Even though I don't have any catch light here, we can draw one of those. Drawing a catch light's pretty simple. In fact, you can even just borrow it. You could just go to this image here. Now, if we turn this one off, just so we're sure we get everything, take this here. then you can actually hold down Control and Alt on a PC. Actually, we'll just drag it over here and then change it to, or Control J, probably be a smarter way to do that. Control J. Then I can drag it over here and I can change the blending mode to screen, which means anything that's lighter will show up and anything that is darker will be ignored. And I can just take these and merge them because that's. We swapped out his nose, we swapped out his ears, swapped out his neck. I like this thing here, is adorable. All right, so that's pretty good. Let's flatten this whole thing. Now let's, I actually just want to play with this for a second in the new neural filters. There's a colorization filter. And I haven't played with this yet, but I thought it'd be kind of a cool time to try it. So it's colorize. Let's give it a whirl. See what it does. Profiles here. Pro high contrast. How large is this thing? I want to guess it's by about 12 inches by maybe about 9 inches, I would guess, for the work surface. And overall, it's probably more like 14 inches total, by about 10 inches or so. It's bigger, but I like it. It's one of those little USB dongles you just plug into a USB port and it works. I haven't configured the buttons yet. I'm a person who uses the Alt right click to adjust my brush size, so I don't use the dial for that, and I don't use it for zoom either. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to use this for. I might turn that into flow actually, but I almost always use 1% flow or 100% flow for most things. Let's look. I'm just looking at some of these previews here. I'm just going to play with it. I want to play around with it. Or artifact reduction. Okay, that's fun. Noise reduction. Whenever I test something, I always just turn it all the way up and see what it's doing. I do like my images a little bit bluer. I just tend to be that way. That's do we like that better? Does that have more output as a new layer? And then we can do is we might change this like soft light or overlay and back it off a bit. Adds a hint of color. Nah. Try color actually. Pull this down. This is just taking some of that saturation out. Just a hint of something. Okay. That's nice. We'll keep this one. Is it going to win a competition? Maybe not, but it's still interesting. So let's do the other one, which is the was it Ethereal Landscape. Let's do that one. So let's do that one in Dream Studio, though, since it is a stable diffusion competition. Stable diffusion competition. Mile I can't talk right now. Let's. Dream Studio. Cthulhu Lord, you just missed it. We just made a picture based on your lyrics, your song lyrics. All right, so Ethereal Landscape. Ethereal Landscape. That's probably going to be a wider image, right? So let's make it a little wider. And I'm just going to leave it like that and see what happens. Let's just try one at 1.5. If I win with this, that's pretty embarrassing, isn't it? I just typed in the exact name of the competition and won. That's ridiculous. It's actually pretty disappointing. Let's roll it again. I'll switch back to this camera here. All right. Well, that's not exciting. How do I like this week's theme? You were the one suggesting it. I did not come up with something great yet. It's okay. It's okay. I haven't decided if I love it yet or not. Depends if I win. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually a friend of mine, Mark, who runs ACI Labs, which is another print lab, has been doing this for a while, and he was using Dark Side of the Moon. So he used Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon and was finding imagery in that. He's a really big music guy. So he was doing that months ago, actually, and he was really excited about the fact that it produced some really cool imagery. So that was very cool idea. Very cool idea. All right, this is boring. How do we change it? So Ethereal Landscape. First of all, when I make a prompt, my way of making it is to just think generically first, right? Start from the top of the mountain. What are you, or the bottom of the mountain? What are you trying to do, right? I need an impactful image. So I know this image is probably going to be more cinematic. So I know that right away. And by the way, I love this because I can't spell. My brain doesn't work that way. So I don't spell. So I am that guy who speaks into my phone, right? I'm that guy. So I know I'm going to have cinematic, and I might even go as far as to say epic. I find epic tends to make more interesting images. You know what? An interesting thing that you may not know exists. Sorry, I always use my browser when I'm off the window here. So let me show you this. This is the clip. Or not, actually not the clip. I found this earlier today, or not earlier today, a while ago, and I thought that it would be a good one for everybody. Bear with me just a moment here. I'm going to find this link and kind of give you an idea of where I'm going. Clip front. Here we go. Looking for the clip front. So this is the database that is used to train Stable Diffusion, right? This is the 5B. They also have the 400M here. So this is the 5B. This is the one that's giant. So any word that you ever want to do is in here. So if we use the word epic, for example, if we type epic in here, what are we going to get? So these are all the things that it thinks of when it does epic. That's pretty funny. It's got the word epic in it. Do epic in. I don't know. Maybe this is a horrible example. But this is, whenever I'm thinking whatever my prompt needs to be, I'm looking at what would it have learned to make that prompt happen. So my brain is always going, well, where should I start with that? Does MidJourney do prompt competitions? They do. They have a daily prompt competition, actually. There's just a daily theme room inside of MidJourney. I don't believe I can show it because of their terms of service. But if you go to the MidJourney bot room or MidJourney room, there's a daily theme. Okay, so I want an epic scene, cinematic, ethereal landscape. So what's in this ethereal landscape? That's the problem here. Plus the renderer. What renderer do I want to use? You can use 8K. 8K has a look, right? It's aggressive depth of field. So I always think of it like 8K is an artist or 4K is an artist. Those are kind of the ways that I view these modifiers at the end. It's not just some artist that you enjoy. It's a look, and an artist is a look. So you're kind of combining them. So 8K. So if you wanted a painting mod, you can do Bob Ross or oil on canvas or watercolor, whatever. I'm just going to throw 8K out there because I think that it can look either way, artistic or photographic. And these are in order of importance, by the way. So whenever you're doing things, the words that are farther to the left mean they're heavier weight than the ones over here. So like if you're talking about a boy flying a kite, you know, boy and kite should be the first two words, or darn near the first two words in that prompt in order to get something. So a boy flying a kite, kite is near the end. So kite may not be prominent. Now, also, when boy flying a kite is probably not going to be a headshot, right? Because you can't show a boy flying a kite if it's a headshot. So ethereal landscape, cinematic, epic scene. All right. Do I need the word landscape in here? Well, that's the other thing. So ethereal what? I don't need the word landscape. I need a scene. So it's an ethereal forest, for example. I don't tend to use very generic terms unless I'm going for kind of a broad brush where I can't solve it. The word landscape is inconsequential, a waste of space, basically. Ethereal forest, what kind of forest is it? It could be a Martian forest. It could be an alien forest. Remember, the goal of all image competition entries is impact. Impact, impact. Anything else doesn't really matter. Does the person look at it and go, wow, and then they pick it apart. And we want the wow first. Ethereal alien forest, cinematic epic scene, 8K. All right, let's run a few of these. Let's run two of these. Looks like it's probably not going to be a meme like the last thing we did. Okay, well, they're fine. Are either of them, I mean, they're both cool, but are either of them impactful? No, not at all. So I don't have that. So what do we need to make this impactful? I think we need a focus. We need something that it's going to rally its prompt around. So I've got, who knows what kind of alien force is going to produce every time we roll this, but what are we looking at? Like, what's the main thing? I love portals. I think everybody loves a good portal. So cinematic. Let's throw it in here. Let's throw a portal. Let's use the word portal. Let's say it's a stone portal or a metal portal. Let's say stone, ancient stone, perhaps. Ancient stone portal. And you don't need to put commas all over the place. You don't need to put all this other kind of stuff. It's just, can't play with it. Robes CCS says, recently showed my nephew AI art now. He's so inspired to learn and looking forward to take Photoshop courses to add experience. Absolutely. I actually have a really easy couch to Photoshop series here on YouTube that is maybe I think it's like 16 or maybe 13 episodes long, and it's not hard to follow, but it'll give you enough information that you can do exactly what we did today without a problem. If you watched us you're new to this thing, we just made this today based on smashing a couple of images together. So if you watch this later, that's what we did. Okay, so an ancient stone portal is probably going to be our focal point now. Run it again. So my mindset is oftentimes around building the prompt this way. Okay, that did not work as expected. So ancient stone portal needs to be moved over here. So it's much closer to the beginning. Run again. Prompt waiting is not enabled in Dream Studio at this time, and I miss it because this is exactly the time when I would use it to try and force something. Let's get rid of words stone portal. And the word ethereal in here is the competition is ethereal, but I don't need to use the word ethereal at all. I actually think that I would prefer something that's more volumetric. So volumetric adds fog. I had been doing a daily prompt for my people who support the channel. By the way, here's the people who are supporting the channel. Thank you again so much. We have a lot of other sponsors in here, but the difference between the sponsors and these people are the amount that they're actually helping out. So I really appreciate everybody, sponsors and the like, for really supporting the channel. You guys are awesome. So what I want to do now is just kind of work with the prompts, and I use, again, I give a lot of those out. I need to get back at it because I've been back now. All right, so volumetric. What else is missing? I think some dramatic light would be good. I find that dramatic light means more or less light it from the back. That's just kind of one of the things that it seems to be pretty quirky about. Let's try this again. And maybe portal is not good enough. Maybe you need to come up with something that's more interesting. Can you give it a weight with lots of exclamation marks? Yeah, that actually doesn't work in Dream Studio yet. And I got that directly from the developer telling me that it is not implemented in Dream Studio at this time. So local installations, it works great. You can use parentheses around things to make them way more, or you can use brackets around things to make them way less. So that's kind of cool. All right, now this is interesting. Getting rid of the ancient stone helped us get a portal at least. This is interesting. Is it a competition winning? No, not at all. So what else do we need? This 8K thing is helping us, but I don't know that it's interesting enough. Because we're looking for an outdoor scene, I think I might go with CryEngine. So there are old games that use the Crisis engine have kind of an outdoor, kind of a foresty look to them. So CryEngine. So if you use CryEngine, it's going to help you make more of an outdoorsy, foresty kind of feel to it. At least that's the way that I think too. Yeah, the collabs and some of the other ones like that. So yeah, so CryEngine will kind of help it look more gamey and outdoorsy, but I don't know in this case that I enjoy it. We need another what do you want to call it? Focus here, because these are not interesting to me. So I'm interested. Guys, come up with ideas to what can we throw in here to make people focus on it. Alien forest. Maybe it's the fact it's just a forest. It does need to be an ethereal scene. So we've got volumetric. I think I would use the word, and this is a big one, iridescent. Iridescent tends to really mess stuff up. Let's try iridescent. I can't spell. See where this goes. Dream Studio considered the best version of SD. It is actually, yes, it is version 1.5, and all local installations are all 1.4. 1.5 is not available to the public yet. Free. Emad, the guy who's in charge of this whole thing, the guy who's paying for all this, keeps tweeting like the 29th, and we don't know what that is, but maybe that's his drop date for 1.5. Who knows? Psychedelic. I like that. I actually have used that one in the past as well, and I do like that. Let's do that. Psychedelic. That's a great suggestion. Now we got to figure out how to spell it. Psychedelic. There we go. Psychedelic. I do like psychedelic. I did one not too long ago with a big forest, psychedelic forest, but it was shot more like a kind of like a postcard kind of thing. I really like how it turned out. Okay. So this alien portal, get rid of psychedelic. Let's get rid of alien as well. Psychedelic forest. Psychedelic portrait forest cinematic. This. It's a short prompt, right? It doesn't have to be a giant prompt. Dream Studio is a paid platform. I do pay for it, so I do actually have a membership. These are all terrible. Psychedelic portal. This makes me think I've just got to back up and rethink the prompt here. I'm not enjoying. So ethereal landscape is our goal. What if we did an ethereal landscape, but we did it in a bubble, or we did it as in some sort of an object? So since we can't get something interesting outright, how about we put something interesting inside of a container? So let's do in a bottle, right? I'm just going to use the words in a bottle and see what happens. Psychedelic. Let's get rid of the word portal. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of the word forest. Forest. So we're going with this. I find MidJourney to be useful in a lot of ways, and I find Stable Diffusion to be useful in a lot of ways. That's terrible. And now DALL-E 2 is open. They just opened their doors today, so everyone can use the platform. That is also a paid platform. Stable Diffusion can be installed locally. They have given version 1.4 away, so you can use this one for free. Version 1.5 is not yet available to the public. And again, Dream Studio, these are the people that made the free one you're using, and they're giving it to you. So don't think like you're like you're not doing them any favors if you just use it and don't pay for it, right? But there are some of us who are paying for it because I love it and I want to see continued development. I want to see them continue to make the new one. So I'm willing to give them a little bit of money to help them, because the more money they have, the more they're going to keep going. Remember, MidJourney runs on Stable Diffusion. Okay, it's not a separate thing; it runs on it. Things like impossible, infinite. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I think I might get rid of the word psychedelic here too. I like impossible. That's fun. That is a fun one as well. I agree. Yes, I'm paying for all these failures. But again, what's it costing? It's like, fractions of a penny per image. So these are not good. Impossible, portal, cinematic. Maybe the word portal needs to go away. Cinematic, epic scene. So I'm sitting here, I'm still rethinking this. Like, I need to get rid of some of these words because it's not going the right way. And I think adding more crap about it, you just keep throwing prompts at it, is not going to make it better. Figure out your base first and then work forward. Okay, so this is more interesting. Like, this is interesting. Is it going to win a competition? Hell no, it's terrible. In a bottle, in a bubble, maybe. Ethereal landscape. It sounds boring. It's the kind of competition I would skip, right? Just yeah. That's about what I asked for, isn't it? Possible portal. Let's just start over like this. I don't like where this is going, and I'm just wasting my time and your time. You're watching me waste my time, which by definition means fingers. All right, so I need to start somewhere that's more interesting. He's saying in my CFG scale is low. I like it about 7. That way that it can really kind of mess with it. I can try it. I know people like 11 and 12 better, but I tend to get really interesting results when I'm down near 7. And it could be you're right. Let's find out. Okay, it's better, but still boring. Bottle. You know, the other thing you can do, kind of fun experiment, is use nonsense words. Like, I'm just typing, making up a word as I'm typing. You never know. I have gotten some crazy stuff. People are like, what's your prompt? I'm like this. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, I don't know. But it tried to guess what it was. And it made a thing out of it. So, like if we just did this. What is that? Let's go find out, shall we? Spending money to find out. There you go. It's one of those things. Anyway, okay, so let's try this again. Ethereal landscape. How about we start with like a fairy, like a garden, like a fairy tale type thing. Fairy tale garden. Ethereal. Volumetric. Again, volumetric adds a fog to it, which is kind of fun. Dramatic light. Now, this one can get interesting depending on, again, our artist. We didn't give an artist, right? The artist is really where this can shift. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe this is more along the lines where we should have gone originally instead of a forest. We could have some flowers. We could have some... I don't want to put butterflies in it because it's too typical. Again, this is not winning a competition because it's not impactful enough yet. We got to make it impactful. I still like a portal idea. Throw that in there. And then we need an artist. So we could say 8K is our artist, and we can add insane, highly detailed. Again, those are kind of like your artists, is the way I look at them. I wonder if what I typed in was good in like some other language, obviously. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere-ish. Ethereal. I want to pull that down here a little bit. I might even do like desaturated. That way it's not so darn colorful. I don't need that much color in my life right there. I might lower my steps a bit too, as we're just brainstorming here, so I'm not paying so much per image. And again, if I use Euler, I think the steps can be lower and you still get a good quality result out of it. I'm not really motivated by any of those either. I'm looking for suggestions, so throw anything in the comments there if you are in the chat here. Just brainstorming with you guys sitting here. Just as I said, just escaped Florida. I was on the last plane out of Florida. I was teaching a 5-day class down there, and we did long days, and we got out in 3 days, and everybody got to leave, and I took a plane. And I guess that was the last plane. I had no idea at the time, but they stopped flying after that. So I got home. I wasn't supposed to be here today. So this is my bonus. I'm sitting at home, got all my work done. I thought I'd log in and play with 2 of these competitions. So for those of you who just joined us, we just did this one earlier for one image competition, which is song lyrics. And now we're working on this ethereal landscape, which again is typically the type of competition I skip. I don't really, I'm not really big into landscape images. I don't know. I need a thing. I need a thing. Is there a fairy in here? Large wings. And also, I think we need to start adding an actual artist. Yeah, there's a giant hurricane right now. It's like category 4, might be a category 5 pretty soon. So it's coming out there. Well, thank you. Yes, thank you. I love doing these things live because I just be sitting here by myself. So it's nice to have people to chat with while I'm doing them. And even though I'm not that happy with the results, it's still great to kind of try. You learn a lot by failing. So say, be brave enough to suck at something new today, right? That's kind of my mantra. So we're sucking today at this thing, not getting images we want out of it yet. I think we need to start adding some artists. So like I like Tom Bagshaw, for instance. I like Peter Moorbacher. And now it's going to start to add a heavy flair from those artists. And I think that might actually help this quite a bit. Let's see where this goes. Well, I like this, but I don't like the fairy. So let's drop the fairy out. Heavenly. Heavenly's good. Glowing fog. I like those ideas. Let's try those. By the way, there's reasons there's still women in these things. And sometimes these artists, like Peter Moorbacher, always draws people. So Heavenly is good. Let's do that one. I'm actually going to steal it right from him. Heavenly is good. Glowing fog. I like your ideas here. This is all good. Remember their order of importance. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Agnes. That is awesome of you. Thank you. I haven't had too many people do that during my things here. This is really nice. Landscape, add landscape movement. Wait, add landscape somewhere, beginning of prompt or environment near the end. Yeah, I try and avoid using the word landscape, just in general. Because we already have a landscape. And I don't want it to be too far off. Like if it's so far away that it might be boring. Again, I'm trying to do something interesting. What about some dramatic clouds? A storm chasing. You know, storm chasers always have those really amazing skies. So this should probably, because we use the word storm chaser, if I spelled it right anyway. Not cacher. Storm chaser. Add that. I wish you could prompt weight this, because I would use, like, if I was in MidJourney, I would do no people, for example. Or if I was using a local installation, you can do this. But that doesn't work here, not in this interface. And this is a stable diffusion competition, not a MidJourney competition. So ominous. Oh, that's a good one. Let's try that. This is nice. It's nice. And if I like this, I might actually just remove the lady from it. Like this is maybe pretty simple to pull her out of there. Ominous. Let's throw some ominous in there. Let's do ominous clouds. And I think we should pull Tom Bagshaw out of this here. Try that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Fairy Tale Garden, volumetric, dramatic lighting, good. Flowers, we probably don't need that word in there. Portal, I like. 8K. So the 8K is kind of an artist, so let's drop that out. Highly detailed, good. Ethereal, desaturated. Peter Moorbacher, heavenly glowing fog. So heavenly glowing fog. Lowercase that. Storm chaser. Guys have great suggestions in here. I'm pretty. This is nice. Pull that one down. Is there another one back here a bit ago I think we liked? I like this one. Let's run one more and then we'll go into Photoshop and we'll mess with it. Thank you so much, Agnes. That was really nice of you. I don't think with the words illegal, fog of war. I don't think that with didn't erase. Oh, I didn't take time off the new reroll. Whenever you go back with the back arrow, it will replace the prompt as well. Let's add some more steps in and lower our. So I just get much better images when it's not square. It's just square. It just always disappoints me. There we go. It's just a ethereal landscape. Let's word the word iridescent in. All right, 1R. Elusive. Elusive is a fun one. Yeah. Pretty. Fog is a bit heavy. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I think I might pull the word volumetric down here. We could put it over here. Or just remove it. I'll see what kind of get out of that. There were some good ones there. I should have saved those first. We'll have to go back and get those. Getting all that fog from this one too. Get rid of glowing fog. I don't mind it though. It's just maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. Flowers and garden already need another. Yeah. The thing is, so it's ethereal landscape. Is the goal here. So we haven't used the word ethereal at all. Let's throw it back in there. Dramatic clouds I like. Storm chaser, it helps with the dramatic clouds. Iridescent ethereal is good. You pull down the 8K. I like the idea of the portal there. So it gives us hopefully gives us something to look at. So that's what the flower that's for. Flowers is good. Fairy tale garden. It just cracks me up when I see some of these prompts that are like 80 people, 80 artists all smashed together. I'm like, do you know any one of those people and what they do? Like any of them? Probably not. Copy, 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 paste, paste, paste. Just take your time, build your prompt over time, and then it's yours. And you know how it got there. And you know, I think we're learning obviously some really great prompts here. You guys are giving great suggestions and you see their effect immediately. I'm spending the money, you're not. So you get to watch and learn as much as I'm watching and learning. Oh, that's really interesting. That's pretty interesting. So we could actually play with this too. We can pull it over and then do variations on it. You can pull it into the editor here and you say how much strength this one has. Like we could say this is like maybe 70% of this. And let's try and stream again using the system. This editor in here is really cool. They're doing so many interesting things with it. A little bit, maybe a bit too strong because it doesn't look that different. It's different enough. I mean, there's a different, this thing here, a little more stuff up here. Go back to the editor and maybe lower the strength. I think we got to get rid of that person too. I don't think that person should be in the shot. I think this is more of just, again, it should be a landscape interesting thing. Whimsy is a fun word. Let's throw that in there. Getting kind of angry in here, isn't it? Enchanted. Excellent suggestion. Because it doesn't have a specific kind of thing. Mark Simonetti. I don't know who that is. But you know what? Why not? We'll throw him in here too. Bam. Now, my rule is I try and change one variable at a time, right? But I think we've got some good images already, so I'm just kind of playing now. I like see how Mark Simonetti is. I'm not familiar. Oh, we're still using this. We need to clear this image out. Otherwise, it's just going to keep using this thing. Would be great if the generated images were automatically saved in Dream Studio. Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I think they've got so many great ideas for what they want to do. I'm sure their list is so long that they're, freaking out a little bit. This is interesting. I don't like this, whatever this is, though. I almost want to take this one, get rid of this thing. They have so many great ideas on what they're doing that they're probably just picking like, oh, let's work on this one next. And I'm trying to give them my thoughts as to what should go next or what should go first. But who am I? I'm just one other guy who's got to vote. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna move a smaller, more brush here. I just want to get rid of this one thing. And I can do this in Photoshop, obviously, but why not use this neat little editor here? But yeah, I'm suggesting some stuff that I think would be good, but I'm one vote. Quick question. When do you work? When do you know you have enough resources to work with? That's a good question. I don't know. I just keep pecking at it until I get something that is probably good. And then I go, okay. I in the photography universe, I call it in the can, meaning like back when you used to have film canisters and you'd shoot like someone's headshot and you got what you needed. You're like, okay, I have the minimum image done. The client's going to want this headshot. Now let's get creative. And you can do some other stuff because there's no fear of failure because what you already have is in the can. It's already done. So we got one we like here without the whatever this thing was. Looks like the antagonist from the what was that? I can't remember the name of the movie now because I'm trying to think of it. I can't remember the name. Silent Hill. Sorry, it looked like the pyramid head from Silent Hill. That's what it immediately made me think of. I'm like, that's probably not really good for an ethereal image. All right, I think I got one I like. So we go back to Photoshop here. Let's pull up those again. Find those things. Downloads. I like this one a lot. Now, if you drag, oops, probably looking at the side of my head. No, I have the right camera on. I do. So if I try and drag an image into here, it's going to put it in the same document. But if you drag it into here, it opens as a new document. Okay. Now, what else do we need in this image? I like this one because this area is cleaner. This one has got some of these blue dots show up often in Stable Diffusion. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Do I have anything in these that I like? Looking at different ones selected. Throw this one in here and maybe this one. Grab my pen tablet again. When people say, how do you learn how to use your pen tablet? I own one or I don't use it. How do you get used to it? And they say, just use it for like 2 weeks for everything. I don't do that. I don't think that's good advice. I think whenever you're going to do something fiddly, grab a pen because then you immediately know how to use it. Like you get it. But when you're trying to use your whole Windows or Mac interface with this pen, it is frustrating. And then you don't use it. So I think the better advice is just use it when you're going to do something fiddly. So I need to rasterize. I don't need them as smart objects. These are tiny. These are only 704 images. I'm sorry, 704 pixels on the long edge. That's no big deal. All right, so we need to borrow stuff from this one. And we're just going to use the same technique as before. Just white brush and kind of brush in from that. And here's our pyramid head, who's not really a pyramid head. Is there anything else in this image that I need? All right. I think that was the only part of that one that I liked. So let's just grab those and smash them down. Now, what do we like in this? Kind of like the flowers in the front of this one over here better. Let's do that. Let's bring those in. It's okay if they're different color. We'll fix that in a second. I just want to see, do I want them? Do I like? I do, but I don't like this. I think I like these glowing things. It's kind of nice. Fun. All right, so let's fix the color difference first. This is more purple. One of my tricks to doing that, and this is really hard to look at, but I think it's really interesting study, is if you just make a gray. So again, I'm just taking the arrow and drag it against that edge. So as long as S is 0 here, this is just a solid color adjustment layer. And set this to the very bottom of the stack here down to luminosity. This, we can apply a curve to this so it's easier to see. I know this is painful to look at, but it's really helpful. This is all your data here. So if we pull these in, you can actually see the colors in this scene better. By the way, fun fact, this is how JPEG compression works. If you zoom in here and you take all 4 of these and you merge them, because I mean, there's not a lot of difference between a lot of them, right? That will make your image half the size right away just by merging every 4 of these. That's how JPEG compression works. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a color balance layer in here and only have it affect the top layer. So I clipped it. That's what this button does. Or you can hold Alt and click it in here. And then my goal is to try and make these colors here look like they belong to the rest of this thing. So as I shift it, I'm just playing with these different colors. So I'm trying to say what makes it look like it's from the same thing, even though it's kind of a weird looking thing. What is it? It should look like it belongs here. And you just got to keep adjusting it, right? You're fighting this thing. Because we're looking at it in such a really aggressive way, when we turn this off, we should get a pretty good result that looks more realistic compared to other partner there. That looks pretty good. So if I turn these off, should have something that looks like it's the same color scheme. So remember those little plastic cans used to store various small things? Oh yeah. I believe JPEG, I was just using an example though, but JPEG just averages in squares, and then you get rid of, you're taking 4 pieces of data and making it 1 piece of data. But because your eye only has like 2 million receptors for color, but like 28 million for black and white, you don't notice. Like a JPEG gets away with murder more or less that way. Anyway, so this looks better now. I need to get rid of this halo here, which might be really hard. Like I would have to really get in here and start digging at this thing. The other option is to just kind of half-assed it, which I don't really want to do, but again, it is a competition that does not have a prize or any sort of reason for me winning it. I just want to win it. I mean, some of this is okay. I may actually redo some of these brighter areas because I do like them. They're kind of almost a showpiece for the reason we're doing this scene. Am I arguing with this thing for a reason? Like, do I really love this that much that I need to have it in there is my other question. Maybe not. Maybe we take the idea of it having little things. Its color balance does not need to be there anymore. And we add our own little glowy dots. Right? I mean, how hard is that to do? Not hard at all. So again, I would pick from the scene a color. You know, I wouldn't just like make white ones. So if I put some glowing dots, like so we just put a dot here and put a few dots whimsically around. And then you can duplicate them and then blur them again. I wouldn't use a giant blur, but something sizable for. And just do it again and blur it again. Do it again. Blur it again. Do it again. And blur it again. We can come up with our own little things and then change this to screen. We can add our own little, if we wanted them. I could also just move these around because they're on their own layer. I just grab them and I can cut them out of what I'm doing and move them around. I think I like them in here better. I don't want to draw the eye all over the damn place. Like I'm trying to keep the viewer interested in one space. Maybe I don't know, I'm just playing around because this is relaxing for me. This is what I do when I'm trying to de-stress at the end of the day. I don't watch TV. I watch movies on another monitor, but most of the time I just like to get in here and goof around. Is there anything from this picture that I like? These flowers here, maybe, or this grouping here. These, whatever these are. Do I like that? Maybe. Let's try it, right? It doesn't take any effort to try it. Let's feel this whole thing here. Full selection job, and then grab it. Let's mirror it. Oops. Just going to sketch it in real quick so we see it, and then we can decide if we love it or not. We need to have this element over here. Do I love it? No, I don't. But interesting to try it. I'm all about trying it. Is this good enough? Will this win a competition? Probably not. Probably not. So I'll probably come back to this, but it's an ethereal landscape, so I guess we accomplished our goal today in creating an ethereal landscape. It is an amazing ethereal landscape. I don't think so, but it's okay. What I'm going to do once we're offline, and I can't do it when we're online, unfortunately, is I'm going to take this and I'm going to upsize it with Chainer. I did a whole video on Chainer before, which is a free application for upsizing. Highly recommend that you give that a try if you haven't already. Where do I put this? I'll save it later. I got to put it somewhere, but that was fun. Anyway, so that was me goofing around today. Thanks for coming in and hanging around. That was nice. Nice of you. Thank you, Agnes, for the tip. That was pretty cool. As I've only gotten a few of those in all the years I've been doing these, so it's pretty neat. Like I know gamers get them a lot, but I'm not a gamer. I am a gamer, but not on here. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I'm glad to be out of Florida again. I hope everybody in Florida is doing well. You guys are getting hit. So say I just got out of there 2 hours before they closed the airport. So I got really, really lucky. And I'm not going to miss my 30th wedding anniversary, which I would have missed had I not gotten that plane ticket when I did. So I got a few more ideas before I take off. Then I'll get out here and done. But again, everybody, thanks for coming in and hanging out with me today. Someone lacks a focus subject. Yeah, landscapes can be boring, and I need to find a thing to put in this landscape to make it more interesting. And I might actually go and put a fairy in there at some point, but it was a good exercise. Like we looked at a lot of interesting prompts. You guys had some great suggestions today. So everybody's helping everybody else. Remember, DALL-E 2 is now open, so you can go play with DALL-E 2 if you want to try that system out and give it a whirl. You get some free credits when you join. I think you get 50. When you try it, so you can give it out. But again, to me, it's more of a stock photography thing. If you need a picture of a kitten with a grenade, you can go and get one. Where if you try and do MidJourney, you're not going to get what you want. And Stable Diffusion might work, but it might hand you some memes too, like we saw today. And it was kind of interesting thing. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll probably do another live stream. Probably do one, maybe even do one tomorrow. I got another project I want to work on, and I thought it might be kind of cool as a live stream. A much more photographic oriented, using some assets from MidJourneys and things, instead of just starting with MidJourney and augmenting the image, actually using client work, which is a lot of the stuff that you find in the membership library. So if you are a member of this channel, There's a whole bunch of stuff that I have for you. So you have to send me an email though, because there's no way for me to reach out to you through YouTube. They have no management interface at all for membership. It's really terrible. So send me an email and I can send you a link to Dropbox. So that's for sponsors or better. If you're just a supporter for the channel, thank you much. It's $1 a month and you guys are awesome. And everybody, it's all helping because this channel doesn't really make a lot of money without sponsors. So I appreciate you guys. We will be rolling our own competition here pretty soon. And I have prizes I'm going to give away. So it'll be a pretty cool opportunity. But if you liked this, take a moment to click the like button, because nobody clicks the like button. And then no one else knows it's in there. So this will move into the member only area after a day or two. So if you wonder why there's no videos on this channel that are like this, it's because they're all in the member area and you get access to all of them at once. So even for 1 month, you can go back and watch all that stuff. So yes, everybody, thanks for coming in today. I really appreciate you guys, and I will be back